Welcome back to G Fun Facts Online, where we dive into the coolest and most mind-bending bits of science and tech. Today, we're talking about something deeply human, something you've probably done countless times without a second thought: sketching. That simple act of putting pencil to paper or stylus to screen is a wild dance of how we see the world, how we simplify it, and how we create brand new things. It's how we brainstorm, how we explain tricky ideas, and how we give shape to thoughts that are, well, a bit fuzzy. Now, what if we could teach this intuitive, messy, and often deeply personal skill to artificial intelligence? That's exactly what's happening on a fascinating frontier of AI, blending brain science, how computers see, and how machines learn. And trust me, this isn't just about getting AI to make digital doodles. It's about creating AIs that can think visually, grasp the core of an idea, and express it stroke by stroke, just like we do. So grab your notepads, or just your imagination, as we explore how AI is learning to sketch like a human. Before we can even begin to teach an AI to sketch, we need to stop and appreciate just how incredible our own sketching ability is. It's so much more than just copying what we see. Think about it. When you sketch, you're performing some serious mental gymnastics. First, there's abstraction and simplification. You don't draw every single leaf on a tree or every strand of hair. You pick out the key features, the important bits, and leave out the rest. You capture the essence of the thing, that ability to filter and focus on what's meaningful. That's a huge part of visual thinking. Then, there's the iterative refinement. Sketching isn't a one-shot deal, right? You start with some rough lines, maybe an outline. Then you add more detail, you correct a line here, adjust a curve there. The drawing evolves as your thoughts evolve, and you get feedback from what's appearing on the paper. It's a dynamic, creative flow, where every stroke can change the whole direction of your design. Each stroke is also a sequential decision. You're constantly deciding, what comes next? Where does this line go? How does it connect to what I've already drawn? This sequence isn't random, it's often logical, building the sketch piece by piece. And even in the simplest line drawing, we're brilliant at implying form and structure. A few well-placed lines can suggest a 3D shape, perspective, how things are arranged in space. Finally, humans are masters of handling ambiguity. A sketch can be super sparse, just a few lines, and yet we can usually figure out what it's meant to be. Now, imagine trying to teach all those nuanced, cognitive skills to an AI. It's a massive challenge. Traditional AI models, often trained on millions of super detailed photographs, really struggle to get the broad strokes idea behind a sketch, or the artistic intent. Their attempts can feel a bit robotic, a bit sterile, lacking that human spark. So how are researchers even attempting this monumental task? They're using a pretty sophisticated toolkit of AI technologies. Let's peek into the AI's art box. You've probably heard of generative adversarial networks, or GANs. These are like an art student and a very tough art critic. One AI, the generator, tries to create sketches. The other AI, the discriminator, tries to tell if the sketch was made by the AI or a human. This constant back and forth pushes the generator to get better and better at making human-like sketches. Some GANs are even used to take blurry photos and turn them into clear sketches. Then there are variational autoencoders, or VAEs. These learn a kind of compressed, essential representation of sketches. Imagine it learns the idea of a cat sketch, not just one specific cat sketch. By picking points from this learned idea space, it can generate new, unique sketches. A famous early example was SketchRNN, which learned to draw stroke by stroke, just like a person. An AI sketcher model built on this, using a different approach to better capture where strokes go on the page. We also have transformers and attention mechanisms. These were initially rock stars in understanding human language, but now they're making waves in vision too, including sketching. Their attention mechanism is cool. It allows the AI to focus on the most important parts of an input, like a text description or a half-finished drawing, when it's deciding on the next stroke. Doodleformer is one such transformer model designed for creative sketching. More recently, diffusion models have been getting a ton of buzz for creating stunning images, and now they're being used for sketches. Think of it like this. They learn to clean up a super noisy, messy image, gradually refining it into a clear sketch. It's like watching a sculptor chip away at a block of marble to reveal the form within. SketchKnitter and SwiftSketch are examples here, with SwiftSketch being impressively fast at turning images into high-quality vector sketches. We're talking under a second. And we can't forget multimodal language models. These are AIs trained on both text and images, like Anthropic's Claude 3.5 Sonnet. You can give them a text prompt, like draw a sleepy cat, and they can generate a sketch from that conceptual description. This makes interacting with the AI much more intuitive. Finally, some systems use reinforcement learning. This is like teaching an AI to play a game, where the game is drawing. The AI learns to make sequential decisions, where to put the next stroke to achieve the best score, which would be a good-looking, accurate sketch. The big goal here isn't just for an AI to spit out a drawing that looks okay. It's for the AI to do it in a way that actually mirrors how humans think and create. And there's some really exciting progress. A key trend is stroke-based generation. Instead of thinking in pixels, like a photo, many new AI sketchers generate sketches as a sequence of strokes, lines, curves, often represented as mathematical vectors. This naturally mimics how humans draw and results in much more fluid and natural-looking sketches. Projects like SketchAgent, which we'll talk more about, are all about teaching models to draw stroke by stroke. Of course, AI needs to learn from somewhere. Human-drawn sketch datasets are vital. Think of Google's Quick Draw game. That dataset is gold for researchers. Others include Sketchy Coco and the SEVA benchmark, which has around 90,000 human sketches of various objects, drawn under different time limits. But human data can be limited. So some researchers are getting creative, exploring training AI on synthetic sketches made by other AIs, or using those big language models that already know a lot about concepts but don't inherently know how to draw them. Another huge challenge is capturing abstraction and sparsity. How do you teach an AI to draw something with just a few meaningful lines, or to vary the level of detail? Models like CLI Paso can actually adjust the level of abstraction by changing the number of strokes. And that SEVA benchmark I mentioned is specifically designed to test how well I can handle sketches that are very sparse versus very detailed. Iterative refinement and collaboration are also becoming a big focus. We don't just want an AI to give us a finished product, we want to work with it. SketchAgent allows for this kind of collaboration, where a human can give text commands to sketch different parts or even draw together. And systems like Lace are bringing AI into professional tools like Photoshop, so artists can refine AI-generated bits using familiar tools, creating a real feedback loop between human and AI. This allows for both taking turns in refining a sketch and for the AI to offer suggestions as the artist works. Controllability and intent are crucial. Users need to be able to guide the AI. This could be through text prompts, a rough starting sketch, or by specifying a desired style or level of detail. The aim is to make AI an intuitive tool that really understands what you're trying to achieve. It's not just about recognizability. Sketches need semantic and structural consistency. Does the sketch make sense? Is it structurally sound? New benchmarks like Sketchref are being developed to evaluate this, looking not just at whether you can tell it's a cat, but if the cat's anatomy is plausible, which is much closer to how humans judge a drawing. And some researchers are even looking beyond 2D, exploring how I can infer 3D forms from 2D sketches. This is a huge part of how we understand the world, visually and vital for things like 3D modeling. Sketch 2 Terrain, for example, uses 3D sketches that are processed into 2D height maps to generate terrain models for virtual environments. Now, let's zoom in on a really cool, very recent development that highlights this push towards human-like AI sketching. It's called SketchAgent, and it comes from researchers at MIT's CSAIL and Stanford University, with news just dropping around June 2025. Yes, you heard that right. We're peering into the very near future. What's so special about SketchAgent? Well, a lot of previous AI sketchers relied heavily on being trained on massive datasets of human drawings. SketchAgent takes a cleverer approach. It uses those powerful, pre-trained multimodal language models, the ones that already have a vast understanding of concepts from reading the internet and seeing images, and then it specifically teaches them how to sketch. It does this by defining a kind of sketching language. A sketch is translated into a numbered sequence of strokes on a grid. The AI is shown examples, like how a house would be drawn, with each stroke labeled. For instance, stroke number 7 is a rectangle, and that's the front door. This allows the AI to generalize this how to draw knowledge to new concepts it hasn't seen sketched before. Sketch Agent can create abstract drawings of all sorts of things: robots, DNA helices, even famous landmarks like the Sydney Opera House. And it can do this on its own, or by collaborating with a human user. Now, it's still early days. It's not creating professional masterpieces yet. The sketches are more like doodles, and sometimes it needs a few tries with the prompts. But it's a huge step because it really focuses on that stroke-by-stroke, iterative process that's so fundamental to how humans brainstorm and visualize ideas. The researchers are looking to make it even better, perhaps by training it on sketches generated by those advanced diffusion models, and by improving the interface so it's even easier for humans and AI to draw together. This work is so cutting edge, it's slated for presentation at the 2025 Conference on Computer Vision and Pattern Recognition, or CVPR. Okay, so AI, learning to sketch like a human is cool science, but what can we actually do with it? The applications are pretty mind-blowing and span all sorts of fields. In design and prototyping, imagine designers in fashion, automotive, architecture, or industrial design being able to quickly visualize ideas, create concept sketches, or generate design drafts in literally minutes. This massively speeds up the design process and lets them explore way more possibilities. Some tools can even turn these rough AI sketches into photorealistic images or clay models. For art and creativity, AI sketch tools can be a fantastic springboard for artists. They can help overcome creative blocks, experiment with different styles, or quickly generate initial thumbnail sketches to show clients. Need a unique tattoo design? AI could help brainstorm that. In education and communication, AI can help teachers and researchers diagram complex concepts without needing to be artists themselves. Imagine an AI that can whip up a quick drawing to explain a biological process or an engineering principle. Sketch-based interfaces could make AI in general more accessible, letting us communicate ideas more naturally than just with text. There are already platforms like CogSketch, which is used to build sketch worksheets that give students instant feedback on their drawings in subjects like biology and engineering. This naturally leads to better human-computer interaction, HCI. Sketching is such an intuitive way for us to communicate. Systems that can understand and generate sketches will lead to much richer and more natural ways to interact with our technology. Content creation is another big one. For marketing, social media, creating storyboards for films, or designing characters for games, AI can rapidly generate outlines, visual concepts, and stylized images. And even in something as specific as pattern drawings, AI is simplifying the process. It can help with intelligent labeling, refining the visuals, and even checking if the drawings comply with all the rules, ensuring accuracy. The list goes on. The ability for AI to conceptualize and generate human-like sketches is unlocking a ton of potential. But, as with any cutting-edge tech, it's not all smooth sailing. There are still some pretty big hurdles to overcome before AI can truly sketch with human-level conceptualization. One of the biggest is capturing true meaning and emotion. AI can learn patterns and styles, sure, but can it imbue a sketch with genuine emotional depth, personal intent, or lived experience? Those are hallmarks of human artistry, and right now, AI lacks the real-world grounding and consciousness that fuels our creativity. Then there's nuance and subtlety. Human art is filled with tiny, subtle details and choices that AI might struggle to grasp. This could limit its ability to create truly groundbreaking, novel art forms. The why behind an artistic choice is often just as important as the what. Common sense reasoning is another tricky area. Understanding complex spatial relationships, figuring out context that isn't explicitly in the visual, and applying everyday knowledge to a drawing. I can still falter here. You've probably seen those AI-generated images where people have too many fingers or weirdly contorted hands. That's a classic example. It often happens because hands are complex, highly variable, and maybe less prominent in training data. Generalization and robustness are ongoing efforts. We need AI that can reliably sketch a huge variety of concepts under different constraints and maintain consistent quality. And, of course, there are ethical considerations. As AI gets better at creative tasks, big questions pop up. Who owns AI-generated art? What about copyright? And what's the potential impact on human artists and their livelihoods? These are conversations we need to be having. Despite these challenges, the field of AI-driven sketch generation is incredibly dynamic and evolving at lightning speed. Researchers are constantly pushing the boundaries, aiming for AI systems that don't just draw, but truly understand and conceptualize visually, much like we do. The focus is definitely shifting from just copying human output to genuine collaboration, where AI acts as an intelligent partner, boosting our own creativity and problem-solving abilities. So what does the future look like? It's pretty sketchy, and I mean that in the most exciting way possible. We can probably anticipate even more sophisticated AI sketch tools becoming deeply integrated into our daily lives and professional workflows. Imagine AI that can engage in extended visual dialogues with you, iteratively refining sketches based on really nuanced feedback. Picture an AI that develops a deeper understanding of artistic style and can even explain its creative choices, why it chose a certain line weight or composition. We're likely to see AI that can seamlessly translate concepts across different modalities, from a text description to a sketch, from that sketch to a 3D model, or even from a sketch to a functional design for a product. And here's a fascinating thought. As we build these AIs, as we try to teach them how to sketch and think visually, it forces us to deconstruct and formalize the incredible intricacies of our own creative processes. So in a way, teaching AI to sketch might actually help us understand human cognition better. The journey of teaching machines human-like visual conceptualization through sketching is so much more than just an academic puzzle. It's about unlocking brand new ways for us to be creative, to communicate, and to collaborate with intelligent machines. As AI continues to learn the broad strokes, the canvas of possibilities is really only just beginning to be filled. And that's our deep dive into the world of AI and sketching. From understanding our own amazing abilities to the incredible tools AI is using to learn, and the exciting future ahead, it really feels like we're on the cusp of a new era of human-AI collaboration in art and design. What do you think? Are you excited about AI sketch tools? Concerned? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in to G Fun Facts Online. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration into the wonders of science and technology. Until next time, keep curious,